Most people wake up to an alarm clock, but Jennifer woke up to the heavy warmth of someone's breath on her neck. She thought she was dreaming, but when she tried to move, she realized she was pinned down by the weight of a man. Before she could even process a scream, she felt the unmistakable bite of a cold blade against her throat. When Jennifer opened her eyes, the room stayed pitch black. The intruder hadn't just broken in. He went into the breaker box and he cut the power to the entire unit. She was a lawyer and lived on the second floor of a high-security complex that had an 8-foot perimeter fence. Jennifer paid a premium to live in a gated community with a 24-hour security guard. She did everything right. She was supposed to be safe, yet she still found herself fighting for her life. Jennifer had been out laughing, dancing, and blowing off steam with some girlfriends after a long week at work. It was early morning when she finally pressed the key into her lock. She went through her normal routine: doors locked, teeth brushed, lights out, and then her head hit the pillow. She fell into that deep, heavy sleep you only get at the end of a long, stressful week. But when she woke up, her entire life would change. In the pitch black of the night, Jennifer had no idea what was happening. She was still groggy, she was confused, and she was scared. She did the only sensible thing she could think of. She fought back, and not just a little bit. She started screaming and thrashing with everything she had. She screamed until her throat turned raw. Later, it would be confirmed that multiple neighbors heard screams piercing through the walls, but no one came to help. Instead, they were like, "Meh, not my problem." As Jennifer was fighting, flailing, and screaming, the man did something that terrified her even more than the knife. The man pinned her down, leaned into her ear, and whispered 3 words that shook her to her core. "Jennifer, shut up." And in that moment, she realized this wasn't a random burglary. This man knew her name. And that's when the intruder turned into a monster. He panicked. This wasn't going according to plan. He didn't anticipate Jennifer putting up that much of a fight, so he lunged at her with his knife, driving the blade across her face, missing her eye by a hair, before slicing his blade across her throat. Jennifer didn't feel immediate pain. Instead, she felt what she later called a hot waterfall running down her face and chest. There was so much blood, she was certain he'd blinded her. But here's the thing about Jennifer that this man didn't anticipate. She wasn't the type to go out quietly. Jennifer felt the friction of the floor burning her skin as he dragged her toward the bathroom. She thrashed, she kicked, she fought for every inch. But he was stronger, and he had her right where he wanted her. Until he'd realized he made a massive mistake. In the chaos of the struggle, he dropped the knife. It was still sitting on the bedroom floor, still warm from her blood. So he let go of her. He headed back toward the bathroom to grab the blade and finish what he'd started. That's when Jennifer's survival instinct didn't just kick in, it took over. And this is the part of the story that still haunts investigators. Jennifer slammed her back against the door. She braced her feet against the heavy tub and she locked out her knees, turning herself into a human deadbolt. She pushed onto the door with every ounce of strength that she had, but the apartment went silent. And Jennifer heard a sound that made her skin crawl. It wasn't the knife. It was the distinct sound of a zipper on a pair of jeans, followed by a heavy thud. Then, silence. Just the sound of her heartbeat and the steady rhythm of her own blood dripping on the floor. Jennifer was trapped in the bathroom. She wasn't sure if the intruder was still inside the house. The apartment was silent, but silence can be deceptive. She had 2 choices: bleed out on the floor of the bathroom or take a chance on the hallway to get her phone. She chose the hallway. She reached out and grabbed the doorknob, but her hands were so drenched in her own blood that they just slid over the metal. After a short struggle, she managed to turn the knob. Jennifer crawled out of the bathroom, leaving a trail of red across the floor. She reached for the phone, but she was met with dead air. The intruder hadn't just attacked her, he'd planned this. Not only did he cut the power, he also cut the phone line. But there was one thing he didn't plan for. Jennifer had a cell phone, and in 1995, almost nobody had a cell phone. They were clunky, they were expensive, and they were rare. But Jennifer was a high-powered attorney, and she had one that she used for work, and it was her only link to the outside world. So she grabbed her cell phone and she dialed 911. The dispatcher who answered, a man named Richard, tells her help is coming. Just lock the deadbolt and stay on the line. And that's when she heard a sound from the other side of the front door. When Jennifer hears the knock, she climbs up the door and peeks through the tiny glass hole and feels immediate relief. because standing on the other side of that door is the 24-hour building security guard looking concerned. He said he'd heard her screaming. To Jennifer, he was an angel in uniform. So she reaches for the lock, but Richard's voice blared through the phone with a chilling command. Jennifer, do not open that door. Because Richard knew something that Jennifer didn't. On the other side of the wood, the guard's voice is calm, almost soothing. He tells her the nightmare is over. He says he saw the intruder run out, and after a short tussle, he chased the man out of the building himself. And now he's there to help Jennifer. He's pleading with her to just turn the lock and let him inside so he can help her. But while the security guard is promising safety, Richard, the 911 dispatcher, is tracking the GPS of every patrol car in the city, and he knows something Jennifer can't see from behind that peephole. The police are still minutes away, and the man standing in that hallway isn't one of them. Jennifer was still on the floor behind the door when the hallway outside erupted in chaos. Shouting, heavy boots, followed by a loud thud. The police had arrived, but they didn't see a hero trying to help. They saw a man with a dark, wet stain across his uniform sleeve. So they slammed the security guard onto the ground before he could say another word. But when they stepped inside, that's when the story went from scary to insane. There were no broken windows, no signs of forced entry. Whoever was in Jennifer's apartment had a key, and lying on the floor, right next to the pool of Jennifer's blood, was the security guard's hat with his employer's logo on it, his belt, the knife, and his underwear. He hadn't just attacked her, he prepared for something much darker, and during his panic, he left the most incriminating evidence behind, part of his uniform and the weapon with his DNA all over it. Jennifer was attacked by the very man she was paying to protect her, and that monster disguised as a security guard was later sentenced to 20 years in prison. This isn't legend. This is sick history.